Yeah, what was I saying? So I have to leave somewhere. See, for this to be acceptable for everyone, it has to not be England. And the reason I can't go to England, despite this being, if I do this, being owned by the United Kingdom, and I'm kind of asking permission for this. In a way, you know what it's like. You know what I've been like. I ask permission, kind of, because I want everyone's blessing. It's not permission, really. It's like, do I have everyone's blessing to continue doing this? And there's a few people that I really am concerned about their opinion. And if they've really expressed concern, I would not continue. This is humanity. But we have this kind of, this little bubble wrap. Not bubble wrap, glad wrap coating that has emerged over the top of the bowl that's like, no, this is staying here and be communist with us. And I'm like, but you keep beating me. You keep kicking me and fucking calling me names. Why the fuck would I want to stay in your little bowl? And you're like, because we put glad wrap on, you can't get it out. And I'm like, fuck off, Albo. Just poking fucking the glad wrap to get out of the bowl all the time. Yeah, I can't do it in England because that will be too divisive in England because I've already declared my loyalty to the crown or to the monarchy. And so if I went there, that would start a war. And also I think it's a little bit too easy. And there's lots of things. There's lots of reasons. Plus, there's a place that I've always wanted to go, and that place is Norway. In the middle of all of this, I was this close. I actually sent a thing to the Norwegian army. Now, we're basically allies as much as anyone can be with them. But I was going to leave and join the army to get exiled from Australia. This happened here, in the place I was born. The place that you're all living and you're all thinking that this is all great. Yeah, I was going to leave. I told my mum, I was like, I've got to leave. And she's like, oh, that's nice, dear. That's nice, dear. I think I might have to leave, Mum, because they keep talking about things. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it's not a good place here at the moment. Pretty shit. But as I said, they're stuck on their course now. They're kind of semi-aligned with Iran because when the United States starts fucking bombing them, all those Iranian people are going to want somewhere to live. And I'm pretty sure that they've fucking already decided that that place is going to be Australia. And I don't want to be living in a place where all the extremist fucking Muslims are headed. And Albo and the Australian Labor Party has decided that they can fucking manage that. They can manage those people. Yeah, righto. It's, yeah. Anyway, you're all going to have a big... I've been telling this for ages, but I haven't gathered up an army around me. So I'm just one man. So I'm going to work on my project, which is the Scale Matters project, which is building a fucking appropriately scaled, appropriately developed, interconnected system to run society, to run civilization, where there is a trust, where communication is amplified to the highest level. And I think doing that in a country where English is kind of the second language, in a foreign culture, I would feel more comfortable doing that in a place where I'm a visitor. Because that's actually how I roll. Like, here is different. Here I was born here. I've got 180 years here. I've got all this defensive, protective instinct in me. And that leads to zero tolerance of fuckery. Whereas if I go to another place and I'm like, hey, could I please be like a resident and then perhaps be a citizen, and I'm going to help you and I'm going to do this here because you've got a lot of like oil money and you've got a lot of like electricity from all your hydro and you've done a really good job and I really like your culture and you're like the indigenous people of this culture, so there's none of that colonial nonsense, and then we're pretty close to England anyway, and I'm pretty sure that, despite all the Viking days of old, like there's actually a pretty good relationship there and we can kind of co-develop this from there. I know that Iceland and Greenland and Sweden and all these places has, like, because of the way they developed, it is the perfect place in the world to do this. You know, I think I would like to do this in that place. Plus, that's where I was headed anyway. That's why I had a big boat. But I think I'll just cut my losses now and just leave this place because this place is about to take a dive. And then I'll go there. And if I'm stopped, I'd say that will create an incident. And we can kind of all gather what's going to happen after that, considering it's already there. Like it's already, this has already all happened. But yeah, I can't. It was the same when my brother died when I was young, when I was 19. He died up in the hills, and I grew up in the hills. I didn't go back to the hills for 10 years. Maybe even longer, really. Probably, it was actually longer. It was like 13, 14, 15 years until I had a girlfriend that lived up there. And even then, I still felt a bit weird being up there. So that's basically what Western Australia is, and it's actually what Australia is as well. At the moment. Yeah. And I'm at one of those points where it's like, oh, I know if I stay and it's fine, it'll be one thing. If I stay and I regret it, I will never be able to forgive myself. And so, yeah, I'm going to take with me everything. I'm going to take with me these tax credits that I've acquired by comparison, by doing comparison theory on what the government's done. And eventually, I guess they're gonna want to incorporate my system, but you're not going to be able to. And then it's just it's the most horrific thing ever because I have to leave my children in a place that's not good. But I have no choice. There is no communication. This is Australia. Albo's apparently begging Donald Trump to speak to him, but I'll speak to you, Albo, but you won't speak to me. Yeah? I'll speak to fucking anyone about this because it's really important, and that's actually the whole concept, is that we should be speaking to each other. But yeah, I don't need a bomb. I don't need weapons. I don't need hostages or ransom or anything like that. Because I just used my voice and I used a dedicated approach to develop something that's better. And I'm going to leave with that something that's better, and Australia will now not benefit at all from that thing. In fact, it will only suffer from that. And that so easily could not have been the story, but that is the story, and that is solely because of the government. So, yeah, nothing to do with the people, nothing to do with the place, nothing to do with the history, nothing to do with the Aboriginal people, nothing to do with the white people, nothing to do with the fucking Italian people, any race or creed or religion or whatever, nothing. Just the government. The government has stood in the way of progress and is thrusting you all into basically slavery without telling you. I think if they just told you, it would be more humane. If I was going to take slaves, not that I ever would, I would tell them that they're a slave. I'd be like, hello, you're a slave now. And I'd try and be nice to them. I wouldn't trick them into thinking that they're not slaves and then them actually be slaves. That's gross. And that's a miscalculation of what they're sitting on. So they want you all to be slaves. They've created you all as slaves so they can then bring their Iranian and their Middle Eastern fucking overlords in. So you're all their slave race that builds their fucking houses. But this place is filled with Scottish, English, Irish, fucking Italian fucking rage that will realise and will fucking tear the entire place to pieces. That's a miscalculation. And this is obviously coming from people that have never done anything to do with agriculture. You've never led a cow or a sheep or a horse or anything into a paddock and then had it at the last minute realise it's in a fucking paddock and go absolutely mental and try and kill you. That's actually what's going to happen. And then the army's going to flip Then we're going to have this war in the north where all these Iranians and Russians are trying to sneak into our north, and we've probably got shit sorted there that's fucking no one knows about. And fucking everyone's going to jump out. It's just going to be a fucking gross war that I tried to prevent at all levels. And if we don't develop this thing now, there'll be nothing to rescue us out of the depths of how horrific this fucking psychological war has been. Plus for my kids, so I can get my fucking kids out. But yeah, that's the decision I've made. So with everyone's blessing, if I have the blessing of the Norwegian monarchy, the Norwegian government, the Norwegian people, and of course the king, and the military of the king, that's how I'd wish to progress. And I think that puts a good kind of level of protection and a good level of order. And yeah, so that's how I will continue if I get the signal that that's all clear and all good to go. Thank you.